Hi guys, my name's Alina. I run the page The Good Noodles on Instagram. I will probably change that name like 50 more times. I can't figure out like what I want to call it because I don't know what I'm trying to do. So I updated my story for like the first time and just kind of showed you a couple things like my setup currently. My setup is not what I want it to be like right now. I've just been kind of experimenting with what I want what I want my enclosures to be like, and just how I want the room laid out, because I share this room with the snakes as my studio or office. And I'm sorry this is so late because I kind of am nocturnal like them. Both me and my boyfriend are pretty, we just stay up late. I don't know. It's not good. But I ordered a bunch of stuff and I just thought I'd go through it. It's a bunch of random stuff. It's got some good stuff, so I want to show it off. This is a repti shelter. 3-in-1 cave repti shelter. It's made by ZoomMed. I have one of these currently for Gilly, and I showed earlier, and I post all the time, like he loves to stick his little head out of it, and it's really good, I found, for them when they're shedding. Number one, like they come in a couple different sizes, so depending on the size of your snake, like it's really, like they feel really safe in here, I think, because it's, you know, it's dark and it's kind of like a, you know, it feels like kind of like a burrow, and you can fill it with some type of substrate. I usually use moss. Gilly actually will not go in there if you put something else in it. He only likes it with moss. So I got another one for probably Beezy because he's my other favorite. I was gonna give it to Pinto, but he's got that stupid snail, which I will show you, that he loves so much. So what else? Of course, Amazon like throws things in like a million different boxes. So I also got this, which is a heating pad that is not highly reviewed on Amazon. However, I wanted to try it out because it does come with a thermostat attached, which not a lot of them do. And just from like initially looking at it, it reminds me a lot of the heat tape that you see. It pretty much, I mean, is just like a strip of heat tape. That's what it looks like. I mean, that's what it feels like. Which I like. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. It is not like the ZoomMed ones that you get that actually stick to the bottom or the side of the enclosure. But I thought I would try it out. I have a lot of ZoomMed heating pads. So this dial actually doesn't show, it has like on, off, and it doesn't have any like degree variations. It's just sort of like a dimmer switch that you would get, which I got a lot of too, and I'll show you those. Let's see, some of these I opened already and some I haven't. I think the dimmer's in here. I did get some more moss to put into the repti shelters. I don't tend to use a ton of moss other than that. Sometimes, I mean, when I used to have everyone in tanks, I would throw some moss in there to increase humidity when they were shedding. And you can do that, but it does accumulate bacteria a little bit quicker, so you kind of go through it. You want to be throwing it out. You can't keep it in there forever. I got batteries because I have thermometer like little, I'll show you. These are what I was talking about before, dimmers. They're typically used for lights, so people plug their lights into them and they can dim their lights. I've heard that you can actually use these with heating pads too in order to control the temperature if they don't already come with that. I know for a fact that these ZoomMed ones do not. A lot of them do not. I love these. I don't know. I mean, I like that they stick initially, and they're supposed to be permanently sticking to wherever you place them, but you can peel them off, which I have done, obviously. And then, as you might assume, they don't stick as well when you put them somewhere else. So I use heat tape, which I have somewhere else. I'll show you that. I usually just use heat tape. It's different than this kind of heat tape, which actually like produces heat. It's meant for like HVAC stuff, where they'll like tape furnaces, or furnace pipes or something. So I use that, and I just tape the sides down so that it stays. I'm trying to give them heating pads underneath their tubs, not Gilly's tank, but the tubs. I want to give them belly heat because apparently they like that, and I don't blame them. I mean, I would love that. I would love belly heat. So the issue with that is, and the reason why, if you've read the instructions on these ZoomMeds, like they tell you that it's better to stick them to the sides. That way there's more ventilation, so it doesn't overheat and burn and potentially burn your snake. I have found, don't do this, because I think that there is probably a lot of risk involved. But I have found that using these alone without any type of regulation on the sides of glass tanks hasn't burned anyone. These obviously, like the bigger sizes, get hotter. They don't get hot enough. I think it's because it's glass. I mean, the glass is not going to get as hot as it would on plastic, or if you place it below the tank, there's not as much space for the heat to diffuse, so it's gonna get hotter and hotter, and that's where the burns happen. So I also got, where did they go? I got these, I don't even know what you call these, bumpers, maybe? Bumpers? People use them for furniture. They're like these clear, these come with them. But I have found that they're complete crap. Like they just fall, they're not really very adhesive. So I've tried using them and they don't work, on the tubs at least. So I ordered these, and they're really cheap on Amazon. It was, I don't know, like $6 for 128 of them. And these are 5.0 millimeter height, which is higher than a lot of the ones that you'll find, because a lot of them are meant for people who have furniture and they don't want, like, this is pretty thick, so they don't want something this thick. I don't know if you can see that, like they're pretty thick. I wanted that. I wanted to give it more space between the bottom of the tubs and when I'm setting it on, so that there can be more heat diffusion. So I'll let you know how that goes. I ordered a bunch of these dimmers because I have several. I have 4 snakes in tubs, and they're working out pretty well. I mean, I can go through on a different video about the pros and cons of both the tubs and the tanks, because I have both. So I have one more box to open. I do have over there a box, it's shelving. I just got like kind of, I guess you would call it industrial shelving, because right now I have them on this like crappy thing I got from Home Depot, which was like $40, and it like shakes if you touch it pretty much. So I don't like that. I don't like that. I feel like I'm jostling them a lot when I'm like in there trying to, you know, organize and stuff. Only Pinto and BZ are on that one. And there's also just not a lot of height between the two, and you can't adjust that, so you can't have multiple tubs stacked up on them. And I'm not gonna do a rack system. I'm just not. I don't do tubs the way that people who have rack systems do tubs, because that's just not what I choose to do. I like giving them more space. I like giving them more vertical space. I like giving them more things in their enclosure that they can hide behind, that they can climb on. And they do. They hide and they climb. At night. It's really the only real reason that I know that they do climb is because I'll be up at like 3 in the morning and they're like. But then if they see that I'm in here, they're like, "Oh my God, she caught me." So I'm just gonna open this other box and see what else is in here. Oh, okay. I kind of forgot. I was like, what else did I order? This. Did I order 2 of them? I did order 2 of them. Thank God. Okay. So I ordered these lampstands. I have not tried this brand. This is going to be new for me. I have currently, I don't even know what brand they are. It comes in a yellow and green box. You can get it at PetSmart. I have ordered mine online. I can't find that online anymore. I don't remember what brand it is. It might be like ZoomEd or Exoterra, if I recall. But that one works well enough. So I'm hoping that this one is also, it looks really similar. It's pretty much the same kind of thing. So I'll have to set those up too. I know a lot of people who use tubs don't actually use any type of lamp with them. They use just the heating pads, but I've found that it's really hard because of the way that my tubs are. They're not like the shallow ones. That doesn't really give an ambient temperature change. You're basically, especially, and I also use substrate. So the heating, it's weird. I don't even know how I'm gonna figure this out. I might not even use the heating pads, but if you keep a light or a heat emitter a far enough distance from a plastic tub, you won't melt it. Most of the plastic that they use in these tubs is designed to withstand heat. If you need to have the light regulated so that it'll shut off when it gets to the right temperature within the tank. Otherwise, it may burn. So I'll show you a little bit more of what I have right now. I'm just trying to figure it all out. You know, that's what everyone's trying to do. We're just trying to do the best we can to figure it out. So that's the stuff I got. I'm not going to show you the shelving until I've set it up, or I have Manny set it up because it's really heavy. He had to bring it in here. So I do have to show you Gilly because he did shed today finally, and I can just see him over there sticking his head out. And he is in a tank too, so we'll see. He's typically had really great sheds in his tank because of the way that I have set it up and modified it. And I can talk a little bit more about that too, because that is definitely a topic that has a lot of controversy. So stay tuned.